The rain hammered down on the streets of Manhattan in a relentless, icy torrent, mixing with the silent tears carving
We
tracks
need to
down
address
Lily
the
Harper's
discrepancies
face.
in the latest reports.
The funeral
I'll
service
review
had
them
ended
again and
hours
cross-check
ago
the
at the
data.
small cemetery in upstate New York. The last shovelful of earth had landed with a wet thud on her father's casket. Now she stood alone beneath a cheap black umbrella borrowed from the funeral director, the sharp scent of wet soil and wilting lilies clinging to her like a shroud. Her dad. Her funny, stubborn, endlessly optimistic dad was gone. Forever. Later that afternoon, in the dim, wood-paneled office of the family attorney on the Upper East Side, the second blow landed harder than the first. Her father, a brilliant architect who'd trusted too many people, had left behind a crushing mountain of debt, hospital bills from his 18-month battle with cancer, plus business loans from projects that had tanked in the recession. "The bank is initiating foreclosure proceedings on the brownstone," Mr. Reynolds said, his voice thick with regret. "You have 30 days to vacate, Lily. I'm truly sorry." The brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, the narrow, red brick house where she'd grown up, where every creaky floorboard held a memory of her parents laughing in the kitchen, of Christmas lights strung across the stoop, was the last piece of them she had left. Without it, she had nothing. No family, no safety net, just grief and a mountain of uncertainty. 2 days later, as she sorted through boxes in the half-empty living room, a sharp knock echoed through the quiet house. She opened the door to a man who looked like he'd stepped out of a Wall Street power brochure. Tall, broad-shouldered, impeccably dressed in a charcoal Tom Ford suit that screamed money and control. His dark hair was perfectly styled, his jawline sharp enough to cut glass, and his steel-gray eyes assessed her with clinical detachment. She recognized him immediately, Michael Vaughn, the legendary corporate attorney, whose firm dominated mergers, acquisitions, and hostile takeovers. The man who never lost a case, and never showed mercy. He didn't offer condolences. No polite small talk. He simply filled the doorway like he owned it. "Miss Harper," he said, voice low and smooth, devoid of warmth. "I understand you're facing foreclosure." Lily crossed her arms, resentment flaring through her exhaustion. "If you're here to pitch legal services, Mr. Vaughn, I can't pay your hourly rate." A ghost of something. Calculation, not humor, flickered in those cold eyes. "I'm not offering services. I'm offering a solution." He stepped inside without invitation, his polished Oxford silent on the hardwood as his gaze swept the packing tape and cardboard. "I'll pay off every dollar of your father's debt. The brownstone stays in your name. You walk away with zero financial burden." The words hit like a lifeline thrown into a storm. Hope, sharp, painful, stabbed through her chest. "Why?" she whispered, voice cracking. "Why would you do that?" He turned fully to face her, eyes locking on hers with unnerving intensity. "In exchange, you marry me." The room spun. Air vanished from her lungs. She stared at this stranger, this powerful, beautiful, terrifying stranger who just dangled salvation at the cost of her freedom. "Why?" she choked out again, the word raw. "That," he replied evenly, "is not your concern." He let the silence stretch, letting her desperation coil tighter. "But there is one condition." Suspicion sharpened her voice. "What condition?" Michael didn't blink. "This will be a marriage in name only. 6 months. You'll move into my Tribeca penthouse. We'll attend necessary corporate and social events as a couple. In public, we'll appear united. In private." His gaze drifted over her faded jeans and messy ponytail. Separate lives. Separate rooms. No emotional entanglement. No romance. And absolutely no intimacy. He stepped closer. The faint scent of his cologne, a cedar, crisp linen. Power invaded her space. Break any term, any emotional or physical boundary, and the deal ends. The debts return. The house is gone. Everything. It was barbaric. Clinical. He wasn't asking for a wife, he was demanding a prop. A beautiful, silent mannequin to complete his image. No heart. No heat. Just cold commerce. Hatred surged through her, hot and bright. But then she saw her dad's face, his tired smile as he'd signed yet another loan to keep the brownstone. And the terror of losing it all crashed over her. She had no cards left to play. With a tear slipping free, she whispered, "I accept." Michael gave a single, curt nod, no triumph, no satisfaction. He set a thick black folder on a nearby box. The contract. My team drafted it. Read it carefully. He turned toward the door. My driver will collect you at 9 tomorrow morning. Be ready. He left without looking back, the door clicking shut like a gavel. The next morning, the black Escalade pulled up precisely at 9. The private elevator opened directly into Michael's penthouse, soaring ceilings, walls of glass overlooking the Hudson, polished concrete floors, minimalist furniture in shades of charcoal and steel. No photos. No clutter. No life. It was a billionaire's fortress, stunning, sterile, emotionless. A severe woman in a crisp uniform greeted her. Mrs. Vaughn. I'm Elena, the housekeeper. This way to your suite. The East Wing suite was luxurious as king bed with 1,000-thread count sheets, marble bath, walk-in closet stocked with designer clothes in her exact size, but it sat on the opposite end from the master. The distance was deliberate, architectural and emotional. That first night, sleep refused to come. The silence pressed in, heavy and absolute. Thirsty and restless, Lily padded barefoot through the darkened halls toward the kitchen. She froze in the open living area. Michael stood at the floor-to-ceiling window, whiskey glass in hand, staring at the glittering city skyline.